Good day, awesome YouTubers. It is Lollyman16, and we are here, guys. We have made it. It has been, as of this recording, it has been exactly, I believe, yeah, exactly 1 year, one entire year since the beginning of Dragon Ball Super. I believe it aired on the either the night of the 4th or the morning of the 5th of July, 2015. We are here on July 5th of 2016, and we've made it 1 year of Dragon Ball Super, and I kind of want to give my thoughts on this entire series so far, because as of this recording, we have hit episode 50, the big 50. We are currently into the Future Trunks arc, and I just want to give my overall thoughts on this series, and what I thought of it, my memories of this series, and all that good stuff. So, when I first started watching this series, I actually didn't start watching it for the first quite so many episodes. I started, I believe, episode 9, where Goku was Super Saiyajin Goto, or his Super Saiyan God form. Um, he went that form, and that's the episode where I started watching this series on a daily basis, and I've watched it every week since. So it's been quite a lot. The funny thing is, I actually started my reviews on Dragon Ball Super on episode 25 of, yeah, I know of all things, the episode 25, the lackluster animation, but we'll get into that later on. So, I started watching Dragon Ball Super episode 9, and then I had to catch up with the rest of the episodes 1 through 8, and I saw those episodes, and the first review I saw of DBS was actually Kwamen's review of episode 5. Yeah, I know, because that's the big one. That's the big kahuna, episode 5, We all knew, we all know, that's the episode 5, we all know the lackluster animation, artwork was crap. Hundreds of people were talking about this, news sites were talking about this. I mean, it was the big thing. And it kind of saddens me that I know people still joke about this, but people still think that from Dragon Ball Super, every episode is going to be like episode 5, and that was almost like a trend setter, We actually, the funny thing is, I never even considered animation, how bad it was, how good it was, whatever, until episode 5. When episode 5 premiered live on Japan, I started from that day onwards to, look, how good is it? How good is it going to be? Are they going to be on model and all that good stuff? So, it's kind of saddening. That's kind of the trendsetter, but at least it got much better later on. And I'm not talking about the Resurrection F. I'm talking about Universe 6 and so on and so forth. They got much better, and that was a good thing. I'm kind of still disappointed why that episode was so bad, and from pretty recent information we got, we know Toei is behind schedule. Okay, Toei Animation has always been this way. I mean, look at One Piece. It's the biggest selling manga in the entire world. Anime is very successful. We're on like episode 700, and I don't even know. We're getting close to the Zou arc in One Piece, and animation quality is another whole thing else to discuss, but it's kind of been on the low side with One Piece too, so you can't expect greatness out of everything. And of course, I don't expect greatness out of every episode. It's not going to be Madhouse Studio. It's not going to be Hunter x Hunter, One Punch Man. It's not going to be that kind of quality, where the quality is like insanely amazing every episode, because they have to. It takes time and of course money to prepare. And as we all know, One Punch Man and others, they have much, like the great. I think they said they have like the greatest or some of the best animation key animators and stuff in the world. So, it's not gonna look that great, but it's gonna look decent. I am glad that it is improving over this Future Trunks arc, especially with episode 47. That was great, and with episode 51, which is going to air, the preview looks great. And there's been certain episodes where it's on point. It's definitely on point, and I am glad for that. So moving on to the overall storylines of this series. First of all, I actually thought that the GT, not the Black Star Dragon Ball arc, the other stuff like the Shadow Dragon arc and the Baby arc, I almost thought they were, in that regard, they were better actually than the Dragon Ball Super stuff, because first of all, we had the two movies, Battle of Gods and the Resurrection, Kami to Kami and Fukatsu no F, the two movies retold. And one thing before I want to get into that, I actually did not know what time place Dragon Ball Super was going to be in. I actually thought DBS was going to take place after the Oob stuff, after that stuff, all the way, like, it's almost like in between GT and the end of Z. I actually thought it was going to be in there, but I wasn't really sure because we had Champa and stuff, and I wasn't really sure when it was going to take place. But then I learned, oh yeah, it's going to be the retelling the two movies and then stuff afterwards. So moving on to the storylines in general, I do think overall, in certain aspects, GT still has a better storyline. I do like where Battle of Gods took the whole Dragon Ball franchise in general. The 12 universes, which we didn't even learn about until episode 30. But I do like that whole thing with the 12 universes, the gods of Hakaishin, the gods of destruction, and all this new stuff we're getting out. I do think it is better than some of the stuff that GT had. But this is not a video comparing GT and Super. I'm just talking about Super in general. So overall, I do wish that we should have just gotten the Battle of Gods movie and the Resurrection F movie, and then afterwards the start of Dragon Ball Super with Universe 6, the Champa arc, starting with episode 28, or in that range. Have a recap episode and then going on. But there are some things from those two arcs that have done things better than the movie. I did like the Beerus versus Son Goku fight better in the Battle of Gods arc compared to the movie. I do actually prefer that fight, especially with the end. Definitely with the end, the universe crashing stuff, that was, it shows. I guess they were trying to display the power of the two, but the ending of that arc was great. I actually think it was one of the best, almost if not the best, ending of any Dragon Ball arc I've seen in a long time. Like, the Cell arc was great. I thought the Spirit Bomb with Majin Buu arc ending and stuff, that was, it dragged on for so long and it finally ended. But the Battle of Gods arc ending was better than the movie, I thought. Goku pushing himself even farther beyond, punching that, like, almost like a nuclear, like a nuclear punch type thing, where he blew up, got the Beerus's God of Destruction sphere. I like that part, and the Sumitomo score was great. I thought overall, Sumitomo, I might consider Kikuchi better, because there's been at times where Sumitomo has been great with his scores, and then other times where I thought it was just unfitting. Just completely unfitting. But I actually do prefer Kikuchi and Falconer over Sumitomo. Well, Falconer, just because I've kind of grown up with the Falconer score. I even prefer it over some of the scenes of Kai. Falconer is always going to be that one, and I know people are going to gripe about this and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, moving on. The Resurrection F's arc. Well, they had room to improve that arc, and if a friend would have tell me, hey man, what do you think? Should I watch the movie or the arc of Resurrection F? I definitely go with the movie. 100% the movie. Even though there were great scenes in the Resurrection F arc that were done better in the movie, like Gohan actually being in there. The Gotenks thing, that was kind of like fan service. It didn't go anywhere. That's the kind of the problem I had with this Resurrection F arc, is because some of the other things, they didn't go anywhere. We had Tagoma come back, but it didn't do anything. Gohan fighting him, that was kind of a cool thing, and at least we had someone else other than Lord Frieza. At least we had someone else, but I'm not gonna get into the plot holes of that arc either. I mean, they're questionable. Like the whole switching bodies thing with Ginyu Fagua. Why didn't he do that before with some other human? Why didn't he? Anyway, I'm not gonna go into that kind of stuff. And the time limit of the fusion, that's kind of irrelevant at this point. But anyway, talking again about Tagoma and Captain Ginyu in general, it really didn't go anywhere, and there was no stakes either. I mean, Gohan had trouble with him, but not Frieza, Vegeta ultimately got that kill, which I would say that was kind of a waste. It really was kind of a waste. They could have had Captain Ginyu do better, even though, yeah, the power scaling is all screwed. It's been screwed since Dragon Ball Z. You know, ever since this series started airing and we get to the Battle Gods Resurrection F stuff, I just completely stopped caring about power scaling. It doesn't really matter to me anymore about the intricate details of power scaling on how Goku and Vegeta's base forms should be stronger than SS3 Gotenks and all that kind of stuff. I really stopped caring. I just want to enjoy the fights. I mean, I know some of you guys are going to have complaints and gripes about that, and I respect your opinion. I really do. You can say whatever you need to. Personally, I don't really care anymore. It's just how it is. But the Resurrection F stuff, I did like Vegeta's beatdown. Vegeta beating down Golden Frieza in episode 27. I did like that more than the movie. I'm sure a lot of people did like that more. And of course, I liked the idea of two things: Goku being shot in base, even though it still doesn't really make sense to this day why he got shot in base. I mean, we did see it in the Majin Buu arc when Majin Vegeta hit him in the back when he was not looking. Kind of the same thing here, but it was in base form anyway. After that, I did like the scene where the Earth is being destroyed in Super, minus animation quality. The score, Sumitomo's score on that one was great. I thought it really was great, and that score is probably my favorite score out of the entire series. The score where Goku and Beerus, they were fighting, and Goku rises up out of the water, almost like an undying, so to speak, scene. That's my second favorite score. And then the you know, the terror when when Frieza shoots Gohan multiple times. I like that. And those scores were great. But overall, that score with the destruction of Earth scene, that was my favorite score, because they did use that again when in episode 30, when they were the infamous flashback episode where they were talking about how Goku is like the strongest warrior and stuff. They used that score again. That was great. Again, these little things that were great. But overall, I do recommend the Resurrection F movie because the action is just kind of jarring. Naoki Tate's animation for some scenes and overall were really fluid and really nice. Even though the artwork is kind of like the artwork doesn't, it's kind of off model, but it doesn't matter if you have great fluid action, and that's what I thought Naoki Tate had for quite a lot of those scenes in this series so far. Goku and Vegeta fighting, training in the Room of Spirit and Time or the Hyperbolic Time Chamber in the dub, and those kind of other scenes where Goku's fighting Golden Frieza and the not Goku versus Beerus in episode 5. At least when Funimation gets it, it's going to be the Blu-ray releases, so that's slightly better. Anything better than episode 5, you know. But moving on, Universe 6 I thought was great, even though it's kind of... See, this is the main problem with this entire series so far. And I know people have been talking about this. I know Geekdom 101 has talked about it. I know people have talked about this, but I will reinforce this. Goku and Vegeta at this point are so dang powerful. Like, they are god tier, and like, there's no one really to challenge them. I mean, Universe 6 only Hito was the strongest fighter, and you know, they could have went to their full powers and one-shotted everyone. I mean, they could have easily wiped out Magetta, Frost, uh, who else? Kaba, Botamo. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure about Botamo, but those guys, they kind of one-shotted them, and that was kind of a problem for me. How they, but of course it makes sense because in this series we've seen Goku and Vegeta. They never take it seriously from the start. They always use their lesser powers, and then they progressively power up. That's just the trope of shonen characters in general, and that's just the trope of Dragon Ball. And I do think that it's what it is. What it is, basically. I'll say that. So, moving on after that, what do we have left to talk about? Well, the storyline of Universe 6. I did think that I honestly thought they were really are going to go into the Universe 6. Well, the actual universe, the Dairoku Uchu. I thought they were actually going to go into that universe itself, but no, it was a tournament, which is kind of strange. I know people are going to like it over GT. In fact, that it's not GT, because in GT in that universe they explored the universe, and here we didn't get that really. And another thing with this series is how should I say this? I'm going to say it like this. They kind of tease you in some ways. Go on training for the Universe 6 tournament, and then not putting him in the Universe 6 tournament was kind of, I didn't like it. Even though it was kind of good that they didn't have 3 Saiyans in that arc, because that would have been like, why? That's kind of overwhelming odds in Saiyans. At least Piccolo, I mean, Piccolo did something there, and I'll get into Monaka later, but at least Piccolo did something there, but better than GT. I know he got kind of screwed over in that last portion of that episode and that part of the fight, him versus Frost, but it's good use of character. But yeah, I did like the ending of Universe 6 with the Super Shenlong, Super Shenron stuff was okay. I did like that Beerus restored the Universe 6 Earth to Champa. I did like that a lot. I thought it was an okay ending. The twists were okay with some of the stuff, but overall, I still think it's just because the previous arc, the Resurrection F's arc, and the Botafu arc, are gonna get into that later, were just so bad in my opinion. I just really would not recommend watching this arc. I would recommend the Resurrection of F movie over the arc for sure. No question about that. And overall, the Universe 6 arc, here's the question, did it save Dragon Ball Super the series? Maybe. Maybe. I'm really liking this new arc, the Future Trunks arc with Goku Black Goku. Really liking that so far. But there's one other thing I forgot to talk about in the Universe 6 arc with Monaka, is that, okay, you hyped this guy up in 2013, the Battle of Gods movie. You hyped him up, and then it turned out to be a big twist. I kind of would preferred a stronger Monaka, like a guy who's really powerful, not so much his looks. See, here's another thing. The character designs are interesting. I thought interesting, but we didn't have one guy who's like solid, like badass looking. I mean, Hit was the only thing that was really awesome. I thought Frost was, of course, Frieza, but I do like Frieza's character in general, his tone and his design and all that stuff. So again, I felt like the Universe 6 characters were kind of alternate versions of Universe 6 and Universe 7, sorry, and that's what they kind of were supposed to be anyway. Frost, Kaba, kind of like the Saiyans, the Frieza race, the Majin Buu, if you want to count Botamo as that, but unique abilities. But I'm looking forward to someone really cool looking. I'm really looking forward to it. I like Black Goku, but someone else would be great. But that's kind of my personal opinion. So then we have the Potafu arc after the Universe 6 arc, and the Potafu arc was kind of bad. I won't lie. I I do enjoy did enjoy a little bit the stuff, the storytelling behind the superhuman water stuff. I know it's a filler arc, but we kind of have to count it in somewhere. So uh, I didn't like it because I thought it was going to be a Gotenks thing where SS3 Gotenks was going to take out Copy Vegeta. That kind of would have been cool. But then they have Goku and Vegeta fight, and for them to fight in SS Blue, like go all out in a filler arc, that's kind of like, why would they do that? Like have an all out match in a filler arc. I I mean, especially with this new Future Trunks Black Goku stuff, where Black Goku is not that powerful, and then in the filler arc we have, I don't know. That's just kind of my personal gripe. I didn't like that section of this story. So overall, we have two good arcs, and then two bad arcs, in my opinion. In my opinion, I actually liked the Battle of Gods arc over the movie, even though it was kind of slow paced. I know, because it's like an hour and 30 minute, or actually a 90-minute movie, for the Battle of Gods arc into a 14 episode, story. And then the Resurrection F arc was really bad in that regard, because it's a movie and then you're putting it into an arc. So, like, I mean, the story. Okay, the story. I know the storyline wasn't the best in the Resurrection F arc, but yeah, I know I'm kind of going off topic, talking about it in general. But for the Resurrection F arc, the storyline wasn't all there, and then they kind of had it paced out really weirdly, especially in episode 20, I think. Like, they had two freaking time skips, but yeah, that's kind of whatever. So in general, it has been an entire year of Dragon Ball Super, and overall, discussing everything I've said, I did like all the memorable moments. And if you were to tell me, hey Orion, or hey Lollyman, because that's my name, I kind of messed that up. But hey man, do you enjoy Dragon Ball Super more, or do you like Dragon Ball GT more? It's been a whole year of Super, and GT has already been aired. And I would say overall, if you were to compare Super to GT at this point, I am going to say Super now. I actually was contemplating there at the Resurrection F arc that I did enjoy GT more. I will not lie. I did like GT more when it was at the Resurrection F arc. But now, with Universe 6 and with Future Trunks, I am enjoying Super more. So that's a good thing. I didn't want it to be worse than GT. I mean, it's Toriyama's work. He's overseeing it. He's not writing the manga. It's Toyotaro, but he's overseeing the whole thing, and that's how it should be. I think it should be a solid series and a better series, and we've gotten that in parts, and we haven't gotten that in parts. So it's been a rough ride. Been a kind of a mixed run of this series so far. That's just all my general thoughts about it. I thought it was not as great as it could have been, but still good. I still think it was good and still very enjoyable. It's not like it's, oh man, I have to make a review. And there's been episodes like that where it's like nothing really happened, and it's kind of slow paced and there's no really dialogue. I didn't like those episodes. I won't lie. A lot of this series hasn't been great episodes, but there have been very great moments. Vegeta killing Ginyu, Goku versus Hit with SS Blue Kaioken when Chozetsu Dynamics started. Another great one was episode 11, where Goku rising up and from the water and all that. That was great. That was a great scene. Sumitomo's score was great. A lot of those moments were really awesome. But yeah, it's kind of my mixed opinions on this series, and I look forward to many other to come. One last thing I wanted to do before I get out of here is talk about Chozetsu Dynamic and the openings and endings. first of all, the Chozetsu dynamic so far, great. It's a great anime opening, especially to DB, the Dragon Ball franchise in general. However, how they're making the openings, I actually prefer Shala Head Shala over it, and Maka Fushigi Adventure Dragon Ball's opening over it. Uh, Not really, well, somewhat for nostalgic purposes, but I felt like they portray more of story in those other openings. Whether Chozetsu Dynamic is all about action and fighting, which is what I don't like about the Rock the Dragon with Dragon Ball Z's Funimation original, not Kai. I'm not talking about Kai. I'm talking about the original Funimation one, where it's like all dragon, rock the dragon, like all action and no storyline in particular. That's kind of what I don't like. But that's besides the point, because we have Dragon Ball Kai, and I will say that yes, Dragon Ball Kai is better than Dragon Ball Z, because the dialogue better. They've cleaned up, animation wise, it looks better. Obviously, I mean, obviously it's a rerun of the freaking series, so obviously it's going to look better. The dialogue is better, and no filler stuff. Which the less filler, the better. But we have to have some filler. So I did like Kai more than Z. I know the Falconer's score is more nostalgic and better in some aspects, but yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts on that. So with that said, will we ever get a dub of Dragon Ball Super, and when is it going to come? I can't tell you. I cannot tell you. I'm hoping soon, but guys, I know other people have talked about this, but Shemel, Sabat, all those guys, they will let you know. I will let you know, and when it gets announced, everyone's going to know about it. So that's kind of been my thoughts over Dragon Ball Super, the 1 year anniversary. Final thoughts are, it's a good series. I've enjoyed it, not as much as I wanted it to be, but I still do enjoy it. So with that said, guys, I will see you in the next video, which is coming, I don't know, fairly soon, I guess. And stay awesome, guys, and have a good one.